you, chicken. Chicken. I was not expecting that. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Slumber Party podcast. We are here with the effervescent cat. Do not bite me. You are not an actual cat. And with me, Michelle.
And the epitome of perfection and beauty and grace, Michelle. What?
Forgive us, it's the day after Christmas. We're a little loopy. But it is a good time.
Yeah.
We got many nice gifts.
I'm very tired.
We gave gifts to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about it.
It was okay. You were fine. Yeah, so, happy holidays, everybody. I hope your holiday was good, and I hope you got what you wanted.
I hope that you just had a good old time, you know? Like, I prefer kind of like, this is not what the episode is about. However, I prefer kind of celebrating more like Yule, which is, I mean, like, a lot of people are like, Yule, you must be pagan. And I'm like, well, you know, a lot of things that Yule consists of, a lot of things that Yule consists of is eating a lot of food and drinking alcohol and being merry and welcoming in the new year. Yeah, so because it's the beginning of like the Christmas. Sun coming back. Yeah, so. Yeah. I just like having a good old time, and I like exchanging gifts as a form of showing like appreciation for the people around you. I totally agree. That's my jam, fam. I am a. Also, look at my hoodie. Yeah, she's Totoro. I'm Totoro. She did not get this for Christmas. She's had it for a while. Yeah, for like years. And one of my friends has a matching one who I think he'd be a great person to have on the podcast, but I don't think that he would do that. Anyway. Yeah. Christmas time, whatever you celebrate. Hanukkah was on Monday. I believe it started on Monday. Mm-hmm. And then Eid is later on. So holidays aren't over yet, but if you're on break from school, I hope you're enjoying your break, getting in some self-care, doing some good mental health. Homework! Or if you go to college, there's probably homework if you have a semester versus a... Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Sorry about that. Semesters are hard. You're doing great. Think of your future. Keep going. Keep going. You got it. You have our support. We believe in you. Your new best friends. I'm your mom now. We can be your internet moms, even though we have no children. I love you unconditionally. Yes, we do. And I'm very proud of you. We're going on tour. Going on tour. I don't leave my house except to come here. I was like, is this your house now? Yep. Are you moving in? This is my house now. Okay, cool. Hey, Dan, I'm sorry. She's living with me now. If you want to live together, come over. I mean, speaking of Dan, actually, good segue. That's we're talking about... Say hello. We're talking about relationships. Yeah. So, obviously, as we've talked about in multiple different podcasts, got us engaged. Yeah. I like to talk about him a lot, considering that I'm stupidly in love with this individual, and so much so to the point where I'm actually willing to, like, legally bind myself to him for the rest of my existence on this planet. Which is, funny enough, not always what you wanted to do. Nope. That you meet that special someone, and you're like, I need a piece of paper. It was the weirdest... Okay. The government needs to know about this! Yeah, actually, though. Like, I even, so we do the thing in healthy relationships where you, like, talk about things. I know. The tongue pop ending. Yeah. But yes, they do, are very good at communicating. So we've talked about it, like, way earlier, because we've been together for almost 5 years now. Yeah, April, right? Mm-hmm. April 21st? April 19th. 19th. Like, I was in the room. How do you know? Oh yeah, because I got engaged the day after. You got engaged on 4/20, but yeah. I know, yeah. The day after our anniversary, yeah. And I can go into that story later because it's pretty cute. It's really cute. But also want to say I'm so sorry to your mom, but I got the first phone call after you got engaged. I know.
Not saying her mom doesn't love them both. I'm just yeah.
I don't know. I was like, I cried for 45 minutes straight, and like that was part of the decision making.
Because I can calm you down somewhat. Yeah. The other thing, I don't know if I've told you this. Dan, like, when you guys came over, I think it was a couple months before my birthday. You guys were just over one night, and then Dan and I, because you were staying, and Dan was leaving, and he and I went out. I was going to say I was walking him to his car, and I went outside, and he goes, I bought the ring. He's like, it's supposed to be here on your birthday, but it's going to be, like, on my person until I find that moment. So I knew about it for a really long time. I was like, I don't think I told you that. But yeah, I've known he had it for a really long time. And then when you were out of town for Thanksgiving, he showed it to me. Yeah. I'm sorry you're finding that out on the podcast. But I just realized, I was like, I don't think I've told you. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I knew it was... I didn't know when he was going to do it. He didn't tell me. He was like, oh, I'm going to propose this
I didn't know
weekend.
that you saw it before I...
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
You sneaky bitch.
He had it for a really long time. He was ready. He was just waiting.
I just get so happy.
Yeah, they're great. I can't wait until we can convince Dan to come on the podcast because, like, he's great. He's also
really great.
Very loud. So,
yeah.
We've talked about that before, too.
Yeah.
But no, he's great. We might just have to turn down our microphone or have him sit, like, here.
Over there.
Yeah, just yell from back there.
Like, his normal talking voice is probably at a 5 out of 10. And whereas most people's is, like, at a 3. Yeah.
It's either 5 or 10. There is no in between.
His voice just also carries really well.
Yeah, he does have a very loud, like, he has a mid-tone, boisterous voice. And it's just, I mean, I'm the same, so... I can be quiet.
You also don't, when you're gaming,
I don't yell.
Shout across the room. Very creative swear words to throw at people that you're gaming with. Yeah. The most popular one that I've seen is combining a breakfast food with some like a
I think my favorite has been fuck waffle, to be honest.
Yeah. Or like cuck omelet.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not what this is about.
Family friendly.
I mean,
it is kind of what it's about.
We're talking...
relationships.
Yes. And he and I talk about marriage.
Yes.
So...
we got back there.
Yes. Yeah, I was more interested in, like, a social marriage. Not for any kind of, like commitment issue.
Yeah.
Like I fully planned on committing myself to this person for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But it was more along lines of me just kind of being like, I don't like the government. I don't want them to know that I'm married. Why do they need to know anyway?
There's not really a tax benefit that much for being married, and since neither of you are really religious, there's really no like reason for it, quote unquote. But like, it's the thing. It's what you do. And it's important to him, which is really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Like, we do the thing where we compromise. So, and also the thing where we both listen to each other's needs and take them as greatly into consideration as our own. And it works out really well. We've had, like, 2 arguments, like, actual full-blown arguments. Not even like screaming matches or anything like that ever. But we've had 2 arguments in like almost 5 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, aside from that, we have discussions and they can get pretty heated, but it's heated as in like, no, like the reason why I think this is because of this thing.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like you're not understanding me right now. Like, I feel like it's like this kind of a thing. And like, that's the most heated that we get because we listen to each other. Well,
yeah. And, like, our viewers, the few there are, hi, hello.
Hi. All 5 of you.
No, we've had, actually, like, a few, like, I think our first video is up to, like, 18 views. Yeah. Like, so there's some people watching us. I don't know who you are, because my friends that have watched it have told me who you are. So, hi. We appreciate your viewage.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but no, the thing that people need to realize also is you are 25. Which means you guys started your relationship, like, at 20 and 21.
Yeah.
That's very young. and very immature. Not saying you two were immature. I'm just saying that's an immature age. I was
immature. Like,
well, you both were in a way, and it's like you had to. Like for me, I've dated on and off here and there. I had one long relationship pretty much through my 18, 19, 20 years kind of a thing, and who I was then is a lot different than who I am now, and I don't think I could have done that in a relationship, just because like when people grow up, they may change enough that they no longer mesh very well.
Yeah.
And the person who I was dating in that point in time is not great for me or whatever. He's not. I mean, I don't.
I think it's super important to date a lot.
Yes.
Because especially when you're younger
and you don't really know what you want.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like you don't know everything that you can provide in a relationship. You don't know everything that you need in a relationship, and that's okay. Like it's more than okay to date a few other, in my opinion, a few or even like a fuck ton of people.
Depends on the person.
Yeah, I mean, like I just like, man, I got a lot of opinions about relationships.
No, and the thing is like, I had an English teacher in high school, Miss Sparks, who, like, was talking about something, and like, awesome. She was awesome, and she was talking about how, her, like, daughter, I think it was, like, had basically a whirlwind 2-week relationship, where, like, he was, like, it was just quick, it was really, like, intense, they were, like, in love, she was gonna move to Hawaii with him, and then, like, towards the end of the second week, she was like, I don't really feel like I'm feeling this anymore, and she was like, and then she told her doctor, she was like, okay, that's okay. So he ended up going off to Hawaii, and she stayed here, and, like, they broke up before that happened, and that was the most, like, profound thing I was ever told as a teenager, was you will have intense feelings sometimes that will filter out.
Yeah.
It's not necessary, like, you may feel like you're in love, whatever kind of a thing, and it may actually be love, but it may not be sustainable love.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And so being told that was okay was a lot when you're like 17 and you're like, oh my god, well, Brad asked me to the dance. Like, I don't know any Brads. I don't think there were any Brads in my grade. I'm not talking about somebody in specific.
I knew one. He was in a grade that was lower than us, though.
I meant in who I would be dealing with.
Right.
We didn't know any Brads.
Yeah. No.
Well, I didn't know any Brads.
Brad.
But I'm not talking about anybody in particular.
Also, it's my cousin's name.
Okay. But it's just like, that has always stuck with me for so long, because I've had those where you're like texting somebody new and you're like get all these little giddy feelings, and as like 3 days later you're just like, this person is boring. I'm so bored. But here's the other thing, don't ghost people. Just tell somebody you're not interested. They'll get offended, like, or whatever, but
I've been on both sides of that.
I have too. And like there are times where I think it's appropriate, like if the guy is getting too like aggressive or whatever, where it's easier just to block the number and stop. Or when I say don't ghost people, I mean if you have been talking to somebody for an extended period of time and like you've gone on a date or two, like, it might just be a good idea to be like, I'm not feeling it. Thank you for your time. Like, I had a lot of fun, but I'm not feeling it anymore. And if you want to block them after that point in time, power to you. But give them something. If you've been talking to somebody for 3 days and they're boring you, fuck it.
I had a pretty big fear of confrontation in high school. And, like, shortly after high school, it wasn't until... I was probably like 22 that I started working through that. So like I did ghost people a lot. I mean,
do what feels safe for you at the end of the day.
I mean, like that was the biggest thing, is like I didn't have the courage to end things with people because I was way too terrified of any consequences that I would face for saying I don't want to do this anymore. And especially after seeing like so many horror stories on the internet of like, I told this guy that I didn't want to do, like I don't want to talk to him anymore.
And he like showed up at my work or something like that. Yeah.
Or like even just like the nasty text messages that people will send. Like I just, man, like now I'm just kind of like, all right, this is a you problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, in that younger self, I don't know, like it was just something that I couldn't handle.
No, I get that.
I was like,
And I'm not saying it's not. There are some people out there, men and women, that if they're rejected, they just get so hostile for like whatever reason, whatever's going on in their life, maybe with something in the past. But the thing is that's not on you. So I mean, like I said, do it feel safe. But like if you feel like if you're having that hesitancy of like, oh, do I just block it, whatever, just send them a text being like, hey, I'm not feeling it. Thank you so much for like the fun that we had, but like, I think I'm gonna do something else. And if at that point in time you don't want to see anything, then you can block them. They'll still receive the message, but then you can just be like, I did my thing. They have a reason. They have closure. Move on.
Bye.
I'm really good. I sent a lot of breakup texts for people, which was a lot of fun for me because it's just like, hey man, like blah, blah, blah. Because it's easier for me because I don't know the person. So, and that was entertaining for me in high school and a little bit into my adult life. But yeah, it's just some people like need that closure kind of a thing and they might find you on different platforms to find it, which is tough. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard out there.
I will say that the number one thing for any relationship is always communication, though. Because if you can communicate your needs, it will go a lot easier. You'll have a better time. And even if those are, like we said, like, hey, I'm not feeling it, or like, this is weird for me, kind of a thing, it's important to do that. I'm old enough in my life that I don't have time to bullshit around. I don't have the energy for it. So, like, when I go on dates and I am seeing a guy, and when I went on a date with him, I was very upfront with, like, this is what I'm looking for. This is, like, my end goal with this. So, if this is not what you're looking for, I'm good. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I like.
But I'm an upfront person. Yeah. So, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can walk into a date and be like, so why are you dating? Because my goal is to be married.
Which is like, it's cool. I don't know, like, I did get really lucky in finding my person so young.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I always went,
Did we say that Dan and you and I all went to high school together?
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've said that before.
Yeah. Quick story about... Well, I'll get to that after this quick point. Yes. I've always had like kind of a different view on relationships. As I was going through them, especially when I was younger, like I took into consideration all the stories that adults told me and how unlikely it was that I was going to spend the rest of my life with whatever high school sweetheart I had. So, like, in high school, I knew that I still wanted to date, but I knew that the likelihood of it lasting forever was just not there. And I was totally okay with that. So, I just kind of went into every single relationship following that as, like, I'm not looking for this to last forever. If that happens, cool. But if it doesn't, that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy this for what this is right now. So... that's just what I did with a lot of relationships. And I feel like it worked out really well for me because for me, it took off that pressure of wanting to make sure that
this step to this step to this step.
Yeah. And I feel like that also takes away from wanting to fix people or wanting to be perfect in a relationship. Like, it's just accepting who you are in that relationship at that moment and accepting who that other person is in that relationship at that moment. And it was one of the weirdest experiences I have ever had. I can't explain it. I know we talk about paranormal stuff probably at least once per episode.
Probably. Something comes up.
It's kind of a big theme in our lives because if you don't talk about paranormal experiences at a slumber party, are you even having a slumber party?
The answer is no. The answer is no. Anyway.
Woo. But we were just, after we'd moved in together, Dan and I, we were just sitting on this red couch that we had. I know, the red couch.
I miss that couch, but also it was awful.
I mean, like, yeah.
Well, I mean, it wasn't awful. Then it got awful.
Yeah. I mean, it was because Dan slept on it once, and then he just decided he needed more room, and so his foot went, and then the arm went, yeah.
He's a tall dude, so.
Yeah. But, yeah, we were just sitting on the red couch. We were watching something on the TV, and I was just, like, sitting next to him like I usually do. I was on the other side, but...
Whatever.
But I just remember just kind of settling into him and then just hearing a clear, distinct voice in my head, just like so nonchalantly, just like not serious at all, just being like, yeah, that's the one. And then like I was just kind of like, I had a moment of just like after I heard it, just kind of being like just kind of like
I'm not ready for that.
Mm-hmm. And then wait, what? What? Who? Come back. What?
Explain.
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 I can't. It was just there. And I was like, all right, like I've heard plenty of people say like, when you find the one,
you'll just know.
And I was just like, well, that's bullshit, but okay. And like,
also, really good voice inflection. That was on point for both of us.
Thank you.
Oh crap!
We had a good time. Having a good time.
Having a good
time.
Not
having
copyright.
a good time. Having a good time.
But yeah,
please hide me away from the world. Anyway, yep, that's what happened. Mm-hmm. It was weird, but and I don't think that's what I don't think that's what happens to everybody.
Mm-mm.
Like I genuinely believe that every single person on this planet has a one. Like I don't. I really, even after that experience, I'm like, that's still bullshit. Like that's still fucking dumb.
Whatever was with you was just like, this is nice.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it was probably just like my subconscious or something like that, but I don't know. I like with how many people there are on this planet and how many people that could be compatible with any other individual person. Like I think that everybody has multiple people on this planet that would be a great fit for them.
Yeah. I believe that there are... I don't like to subscribe to the everything happens for a reason kind of a thing, because that makes some really effed up things. Mm-hmm. Not like that's... No, that doesn't happen for a reason. No. But I do believe that there are people that you're supposed to meet in your lifetime, whether they stay for long or not. I have had, I was like, Ken. Yeah. There have been people that I have met that, and this is just relationships in general, not romantic relationships, who I meet and I'm like, wow, you're like so much, and I'm like so like into this kind of a thing. And like Kat and I, we had a very quick relationship when we first met. Like our friendship just went like from 0 to 150 in about 2.5 seconds, and we just
I would give it like 25 minutes actually, legitimately.
Yeah.
If we're being literal.
Yeah, it was just like I met her and then like 2 weeks later we were just like laying on the couch and we were like
cuddling.
Yeah, like cuddling.
Yeah.
And we were like, we met like 2 weeks ago. And Kat was like,
weird.
Kat was like, that's weird. I was like, I'm fine with it. And she was like, yeah. So am I. And we just continued to like lay there and just chat and whatever. Mm-hmm. Had a good time. And it's been that ever since, quite literally. Like, we've grown together, and we've grown a lot together. And there was even a year that we didn't really talk, not because we were fighting or anything like that. My life was too much for me, her life was too much for her. And if we had continued to just exist around each other, it just would have been toxic and not good.
We were both just caught up in our own shit.
We were caught up in our own shit, because I had just left my long-term relationship, and you were dealing with your parents moving to Idaho.
Yeah.
So, it's just, there was a lot going on, and, like, we didn't have the energy to support each other during that period of time. And then, like, almost exactly a year later, I, was like, hey, you want to go get lunch? And she was like, yes. And then we just resumed. Like, it just resumed.
It was, like, the weirdest shit, but also the best ever.
Yeah. And I think it was helpful because, like, you re-met Dan during that period of time as well.
real quick backstory about us. We met in our 8th grade year of middle school. We had the same math class, and he shot paper rockets down my shirt. So that happened.
That's such a typical, like, 8th grade boy.
Before the Me Too movement. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is very valid.
Yes.
And I don't joke about that. But yeah, so that happened. And then I just was fucking desperate for a boyfriend. I just wanted a boyfriend. Who was the boyfriend? I don't care. I want a boyfriend. Because everybody has a boyfriend.
That's what you do. You get a boyfriend. You're an 8th grader now.
You don't have self-worth unless a male shows you attention.
Also, didn't you just move to this side of the state in 8th grade?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she also had no friends.
Yeah, man. So... Well, I mean, like, I made friends really fast.
No, you made friends,
yeah.
but, like, you left all your friends and came to here.
Also, that was the thing.
So...
But yeah, so I just really wanted a boyfriend. And, I think, like, I asked a friend to ask Dan out for me because
that's what you do in middle school.
I know. That's what you do in middle school.
Kat likes you.
Just like, so I was just wondering, like, I'm positive she went up to him in gym class because they had a gym class together and I wasn't there. She was like, yeah, I have gym class with him. Do you want me to ask him for you? Do you want me to ask him for you?
But, like, that's a good friend.
She's a very good friend. I hope that she's doing well today. Actually, she is. She's pregnant now, so.
Oh, yeah, she is.
I know.
Oh, congratulations. I like how we know what we're talking about.
Sorry, you don't get to know, because I don't know if she's comfortable being talked about on camera. Anyway.
Consent is key.
So I'm positive that she went up to him and was just like, hey, so, random question. I was just wondering, like, if you, like, do you like Kat? Do you like her? Like... Yeah, I'm sure it was something like that. And he was just like, I don't know, I guess.
This is an 8th grade male, yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, I was just 8th grade about any romantic topic ever.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, but, yeah, so then she was like, he said the I don't know. I don't remember how exactly it went. It was 8th grade. It was a long time ago. But basically we were dating after that and we sat next to each other on the study club bus. And I know. Girl, I know. And I went rollerblading every Friday because it's really fun. You should do it sometime. And
that was a thing here for some reason.
Because it was fun.
I mean, it was for other people. I don't do it because I would fall down and break myself, but like it was a thing to go rollerblading, and I don't know why, because like nobody does it anymore.
That's just like what my friend group did.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna go rollerblading. I don't have any friends.
Yeah.
They do that every Friday. I want to go. So yeah, and I invited him to go rollerblading with me on Friday, and I know. Well, I was just like, do you want to, like, come with us? And he's just like, yeah, that sounds really fun. Like, I don't know if I have enough money to go, though. And I was like, yeah, me too. I need to ask my parents. So I asked my parents, and they're like, no, we're not giving you any money. And I was like, okay, well, I can't go rollerblading, but, like, you can go, and I hope you have a fun time. And he, like, gave me some money, and I was like, oh, my God, that's so sweet. Like, now we can both go. And then I go rollerblading, and I don't see him there. And I'm like, hey, when are you getting here? And he's like, I didn't have enough money to go.
Oh,
so
he gave you the money?
He just gave me money.
Dad.
So that I know.
So wait, have you guys dated 3 times?
Yes.
Then? I didn't know that. I didn't know you guys dated in middle school too.
I feel like I tell this story to I've shortened version, but yeah.
So literally, you guys are 3rd time's the charm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. See, you have best friends for over 10 years. You still learn new things every day. I don't know why I went to this accent, but I did.
And you know what? I'll take it personally because
that's so sweet.
We do the thing all the time where we're like, oh, I didn't tell you about this major life event. I just assume that you already know everything about me.
We just assume that we know.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Oh my God. I'm going to text Dan. He's so sweet.
Oh my God.
Hold on. Keep going.
So yeah, I'll keep going. And it lasts. So then over the weekend, he texted me that he loved me.
Oh God.
Yeah. It was because, like, he didn't know how to be in a relationship. He'd only seen his older brothers, and so he's like...
Love!
They send text messages that they love each other, so that's what you do in relationships. So he did that, and I was, like, even then, I kind of remember being like, is this right?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and then I was just like, oh, also I like wasn't attracted to him at the time. So
because you're in 8th grade.
And I just wanted a boyfriend. Yeah. And like so fast forward to us like moving from where we were at before this to moving to where we're at here, and I'm packing stuff and going through a whole bunch of things. I found my diary.
Oh my god, did you write about him?
I did.
Oh!
And I was like, oh my god, Dan, I found the diary entry when we started dating in middle school. He's like, oh, cool. No way, like, that's awesome. And, like, he didn't really care, but then I would, like, read it, and I'm just like, dear diary, I have good news and I have bad news. Good news is, I finally have a boyfriend! And it's in all caps, and it's, like, exclamation points with hearts. And then I'm like, bad news is, it's Daniel blank.
I'm still happy I have a boyfriend, but it's this guy.
But it's Dan. And then he was like, oh, wow. He did not like that. Not actually offended. But
I mean, like, he can't be offended by, like, 12-year-old you.
13.
13, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how old people are.
So we broke up after 5 days of dating.
It was a whirlwind.
Mm-hmm. It was so much. He kissed me on the cheek.
Ooh.
And I remember being like, it was really wet. Yep. And after 5 days, I sent the same person who got us together, and I was like, can you, like, go on, like, oh, no, it was a different person. I don't know if you knew this person. She was a lot. I'll tell you the name later. But, I sent another person to talk to him across the cafeteria. And I was like, can you break up with him for me? And she's like, yeah. Do you want me to break up? Do you want me to break up with him? Do you want me to break up with him? And
I mean, also, like, good friend, though. Go break up with her.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she was alright.
I mean, in that moment.
Yeah. So, yeah, she did that. And then, I guess...
Did he just, like, look at you from across?
No. Okay. He didn't care. He was like, whatever. But one of his friends, because they had started an informal foosball club, so they spent their lunchtime playing foosball in the cafeteria. And so one of his friends in the foosball club heard it and was just like, fuck that bitch. And then all of his friends were like, yeah, fuck her, like, whoa!
Are these the same friends?
Huh?
Are these the same friends?
Similar. Not a lot of the same people.
But, like, some of them are still there, right?
Very few.
Okay.
Yeah, like, he would have to tell you, because I was on the other side of the cafeteria. I didn't see it. But
Dan's had, like, the same friend group since, like, high school. So.
Dan has, like, I call it his round table of best friends from, like, middle school and high school.
Basically, they're gonna have a large wedding party because all of them have too many friends.
Okay, no. I was fine with, like, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, I have to invite all 10.
It's like, I have 10 to. Now?
It's 10.
Now?
10.
Why?
10.
Why? I thought it was at 7.
And he was also like, I don't really want us to be, like, unbalanced. So now, I'm gonna have 10 brides, people!
So we gotta sit down in January and figure this out. Because, like, the Bachelorette pod team.
It'll be fine. Everything's fine.
It's fine.
Anyway! Yep. So then fast forward to high school. We dated for the second time in, like, I want to say it was, like, the end of our sophomore year. Yes, because it was right before my 16th birthday party. My birthday's in summer.
Then it would have been junior year.
Hmm?
I thought it was your junior year and my senior year.
No, I remember it was... So...
No, it was sophomore because it was improv club.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not drama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we got together because I got a lot more confidence.
Yes, no, it was. It was during the Three Musketeers.
Okay, so I'm gonna spoil a little bit of the story real quick and say it was definitely before I turned 16 because I didn't want to invite him to my birthday party. Yep. So,
I forgot that. I was like, because I always mashed together the Three Musketeers with my senior year of high school for some reason. I don't know why. I'm a year above Kat, so I was a junior when this was happening.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I did not like Dan. I didn't like him at all, actually. I thought he was an idiot.
Oh my god, me too. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a bit of a story. I'm going to try and, like, shorten it. But essentially, I had gotten more confidence, and he worked out a lot and cut his hair. Oh my god.
Oh, that was the best decision he ever made.
He had
really long hair. Just like, it's not a good look for him.
No. And well, it also, like, he also didn't really take care of it, which is the reason why it wasn't the best look for him.
Yeah. But, like,
and then he cut it super short, and then
teenage boys don't know how to take, like, hygiene, so.
I disagree with that. I think that that's a social stigma.
I mean, yeah, but I also, like, had to deal a lot with, like, the Axe body spray, so, like, that's my experience.
Yeah. Anyway.
And the boys' side of the green room always smelled so bad. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. For those who I don't know if people don't know this. I don't know if this is common knowledge or not, but with theaters, the green room is kind of where you get ready but to go out on stage. And in the green room that we had in our high school, there was, like, a main area and then, like, a boys' locker room and a girls' locker room kind of a thing. It was really fun.
Yeah.
A lot of good memories in there. Yeah, so we dated again, and I had quite the intelligence superiority complex in that I just felt, like, really intellectually inferior to everyone around me, so I, like, overcompensated with that all the time. It
hurts me.
Why? What?
Because he's such a smart lady.
Thank you. I mean, like, I've gotten past that.
No, I know.
For the most part.
Like, teenagers and
still
stuff
kind
like
of
that.
struggle with it.
I know, but you smart lady. You smart lady.
Thanks. You smart lady.
I know. It's like the one thing I've never really had an issue with. But no, you got this. But I, like, you know, teenage and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Dan just wanted to be funny for people all the time, and he found that the best way to do that was to, like,
be dumb,
stupid shit. And so he's very smart. He's always been so highly intelligent, but I didn't understand that sense of humor at the time because I had my shit going on. I was just like, Neanderthals.
It's like somebody's doing slapstick comedy and you're over there at the opera being like, well, this doesn't match.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So I just, like, was hypersensitive to that, and I thought he was fucking dumb.
I didn't help.
I thought he was so dumb. He thought I was a bitch because I had that inferiority thing going on. Like, whenever he did stupid shit, I'd be like, it's okay. Somebody will explain it to you. Yeah. That's the kind of shit I did. It was bad. Don't do that to people.
No.
Don't do that to people. It's shitty.
Wow. Yeah. I'm learning things today.
I know. Yeah. I was awful.
I wasn't any better. Like, legitimately, like, I was not any better. Like, that was not a good combination for when we were friends as teenagers, because we just, like, built on the, like, yeah, no, we're better. We're so smart. Like, yeah, not. Yeah. Do not recommend.
So, if you
and I didn't help.
regret anything that you did in high school, just know that's how everybody feels.
Yeah.
And growing is also awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
If 17-year-old me was talking to 27-year-old me, I would be like, you need to shh.
I know.
Please stop talking.
Yeah. I know. Fuck. Yeah. I don't know. That can be a whole other thing that we can do, is, like, advice we would give to our younger selves.
Oh, God.
That'd be really good. But yeah, long story short, well, actually, to make a long story even longer, I wanted to break up with him as soon as possible, but I went out of town for a while to do something, probably family related. And I wanted to break up with him. And so I was just kind of like, okay, I have to do this in person. But also my sweet 16th birthday is coming up. And I just like really don't want to invite him because I want like to be a single lady on my 16th birthday. And like if somebody dares me to kiss somebody, I want to do it.
That being said,
but
quick side note, he was actually very sweet because we were we were doing our end of the year play, and Kat, who wasn't a part of the class, was invited in to fill a spot because one of our people couldn't do it because he stole some yearbooks. I'm looking at you.
They're not gonna watch this.
So we needed somebody to fill in, and Kat volunteered because she always wanted to be a part of it anyway. And did he come to every night?
I don't know.
I know he at least came to one of the nights, and he brought her flowers and like was
no. So wait a second. No, because I remember. I don't know. I don't remember. I just don't remember. I do.
He brought you flowers and you were really awkward about it. That's all I remember. Because I think it was when you were like, yeah. And then he went back and like hung out with us, and he was like, what?
Yeah. God. I remember for my birthday present, he took me to see, you know what? This had to have been junior. God, I don't
Whatever,
remember.
it doesn't matter. She broke up with him.
He took me to see Jane Eyre, the movie, and, you know, my literary wannabe brain was just like, oh my gosh, look at you can see where the rhetorical devices are, and then
I love you so much.
I know. Thanks, I love you too. And so then Dan's sitting next to me, and we were talking about it afterwards, and he was like, I don't know, like, I was just like, for the first half, like, just focusing on the popcorn, and then like for the second second half of a half, I was like focusing on you.
Oh,
because he was like trying to make out in the movie, and I'm like, stop. Things are on fire. And I don't know, and then he's just like, and then like the third, like, and I would like cut in and be like, a quarter, you mean a half of a half is a quarter? I'm just so
it's cringe.
It's cringe. And then he's like, and then look for the third, like, other half of a half. Like, yeah, a quarter. I was just trying not to fall asleep. And then in that moment, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I thought that to myself, but had that fear of confrontation. So then I just drew everything out until I was over, out of town. And I texted him and was just like, hey, I have some, like, I just want to, like, talk to you about something when I get back. He's like, no, talk to me about it now. And, like, he knew where it was going. And then I couldn't think of anything else to say. So he's just like, okay, well, like, why do you want to break up? And I'm like, I just need somebody that I can have an intellectual conversation with. Ooh. I couldn't think of anything else to say. It was a shitty thing to say. I understand that. I don't know.
Obviously, he's forgiven you.
I mean, yeah, but, like, he was with another friend of ours, and he's, like reading it, and he's like, she just called me dumb! And, oh, God. So, then that leads us, sorry this story is so long, but that leads us to where we're at now, and it had been a few years after we graduated high school.
Everybody grew up,
and we saw each other on Snapchat, and we're like, hello, like, how you doing? Like,
look at those glow ups.
Look at those glow ups. Indeed. Hello. So that happened, and then we're like, yeah, we should meet up. And we told our respective best friends, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna meet up with this person. Both of our respective best friends were just like,
that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
You should not do this.
And both of us, no, not even kidding. Both of us were just like, are you kidding me? Like, been there, done that. He's fucking dumb as shit. I'm just looking for a hookup. And he's like, no, been there, done that. She's a fucking bitch. Like, I'm just looking to hook up and head out. And then we met up, and then we had dinner, and we had lovely conversation until 4 a.m. We just talked until 4 a.m.
Yep. 5 years later.
Yeah. So now we live together, have 3 cats, and we're engaged. Yeah.
Which was hilarious because during that period of time, like I said, they got together when we weren't really in communication just because, like we said, we were dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
So, I think one of the last, like, long conversations we had was Kat telling me, she's like, so I think I'm going to start dating Dan again. And I was like, this is the worst decision of your life. I was like, he's so dumb. And she was like, yeah, I know, but it's just like, I like dating people. It'll be fine. You know, like, we're just, you know, like, it'll be okay. She's like, he's actually, like, you know, he's actually pretty smart. And, like, she did a really good job of being like, no. And I was just like, it's going to last for, like, a few months, maybe. And then, like, it's fine. It's like, whatever. And whatever. And I was like, it's fine. Yeah. And then, they didn't break up.
And then it got to the point where she started liking him.
Yeah, like, I legitimately, like once that, we, like, had that, like, lunch and then things resumed, like, I would avoid going over to their house so much. I was like, why don't we go out to lunch? Like, or why don't you come over here? And it was finally, like, one day, she was like, come over and meet my new kitten. And I was like, it's a cat, okay. And, like...
Was it Ruby?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not even a new kitten. You had her for a little bit before I came over and met her. Mm-hmm. So I came over, and we were playing with her, and I specifically asked, I was like, is Dan gonna be home? Like, just nonchalantly being like, oh, is Dan there? And she was like, no, he's actually at work right now. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll be there soon. Came over. And I was like, oh, good, he's not home. And I was like, what time is Dan off work today? And she was like, oh, he gets off, like, I think it was, like, 5 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay, thinking to myself in my head, I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave before 5.
Gotta get out of here.
And it was like 11 a.m. Like, yeah. I had a while. I was like, well, we can hang out. We had fun. Mm-hmm. We were playing with the kitty cat. We were watching stupid YouTube videos, sitting on the couch cuddling. Yeah. And then the door opened. And I was like, it's only, like, what? Dun. And I just hear, babe! And I was like, oh, no. And he comes around the corner and he goes, sometimes this job, and, like, looks over and he goes, oh, hi. And I was like, hello. And then he, like, goes into your guys' bedroom, comes back out shirtless.
You know what? It makes sense why I've fallen for him so hard, considering the obsession that I had with Taylor.
I mean, yeah. But he, like, goes over to the fridge and gets open a beer, and he's like, and just, like, starts drinking, and I was like, are you off work now? He goes, no, I'm on lunch. And I was like, what? And he's like, it's fine, it's a beer. He's like, yeah, it's a lot today. And I think it was getting toward the holiday season, so it was, like, ramping up for him. And I was just like, what is happening? He goes, oh, yeah, somebody spilled something on my shirt, so I had to come home and change, and, like, you know, whatever. And, like, he goes, and then, like, gets changed, comes back, still drinking his beer, and he looks me directly in the eye and goes, are you gonna be here for dinner? And I was like, I don't think so. He goes, you should stay for dinner. I'm making enchiladas. And you were like, oh my gosh, those enchiladas are so good. And I was like, I mean, I'll probably be gone before. He's like, nah, stay for dinner. And I was like, okay. And then he left and went back to work. And I just looked at you and you were like, that's Dan. I was like, he had a beer. He was like, it's fine. He doesn't work that far from here. And I was like, what? And like,
he has a high alcohol tolerance.
He does. It was like drinking water for him at that point in time.
Yeah, he also,
because we were also towards our early 20s.
Like 10 minutes away from where we live.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that far from where they live, and it, like, I don't even think he finished the beer. I think he was just like, work. Mm-hmm. Because he didn't really enjoy his job at that point in time. So, I got distracted, and I was fully planning on leaving before he got back. Being like, oh, my mom, like, texted me, I have to go, blah, blah, blah. Well, we got distracted.
Yeah, my mom said I can't spend the night anymore.
So I got distracted. I think we actually took a nap as well. Mm-hmm. And it was 5 p.m. He comes home. He's got chicken. He's like, I gotta do this. And, like, we were doing something.
Not enchiladas. He probably made chicken Devon.
Yeah, whatever. Mm-hmm. He had to shred it. This is why I said I think
chicken Devon.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, he had to shred chicken, basically.
I was gonna say, like, my enchiladas rule that house.
Yes. But he had to shred chicken. That's all I remember. So my brain was like, enchiladas. Yeah. Because I have had many enchiladas here. So
I make a lot of enchiladas.
I mean, they're delicious.
A lot of enchiladas.
But he, like, gets home, he starts putting the thing, and, like, he's getting ready, and Kat leaves to go into her bedroom to do something. I don't remember what it is at this point in time. I think, I don't know, you might have had poop, I don't know. But she was gone for, like, a significant amount of time with me and Dan alone. And I was like, I can't just sit here and look at my phone because he's making noises in the kitchen. He's like, why do I do this to myself? I hate shredding chicken. Like, he's just talking to himself. And I was like, so how's life? And he was like, good. And then, like, just... It was very much a Dan euphemism as well. And, like, just started talking, and then, like his computer was set up in the corner, and he was like, yeah, no, my friends are probably gonna play this, like, later, blah, 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 blah. He was like, oh, this weekend, though, I have to, like... He was talking about building his computer, basically. He was like, I have to, like, strip down to nothing, and, like, open my computer on the linoleum so I don't get shocked, and, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, telling me all these things, and I was like... I understood none of the words that just came out of your mouth because I know zero about computers. And I was like, what is happening? You have a brain? Kat's been right? What's happening? And then, like, we just kept talking. Then Kat came out and she, like, we just had a nice conversation and whatever. And he put dinner in. He went to go shower and change and, like, came back out, took the food out. We all sat down. He just looks at me. He goes, you're a lot nicer than when you were in high school. And I just looked back at him and I was like, you're not dumb. Cool. And we moved on.
And he's just such a sweetheart.
No, he's really sweet. He's honestly,
so
like,
sweet.
He is one of my favorite people in the world at this point in time in my life, which we did have a conversation because we were playing video games together. He was like, did you think any of me this age playing games with, like, these weird group of guys in high school? And I was like, no, I did not. No, I did not.
No, ma'am.
I have more friends from high school now than I did in high school. And that's not a joke.
No, that's true. It's very true.
Yeah. So, yeah. Like, he's, like, I love them both. Like, Kat is very much like my sister. She always has been. And so, like, them getting married feels like he's gonna be my brother-in-law. And that is pretty much how I exclusively refer to him as other people. I'm like, my future brother-in-law. And they're like, your sister's getting married to a man? And I'm like, oh, yeah. The other one.
Yeah. Her biological sister is, like, definitely a lesbian.
Yes.
So
no question.
It'd be pretty fucking weird
if she was like, I'm marrying a man.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
That's funny. I didn't know you guys have dated 3 times. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, the first time was 5 days.
Second time was a couple months. And now we're on 5 years. Maybe that was an indicator.
Man, just I don't know.
Days, months, years.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, no, Dan is legitimately one of the sweetest people in the world. I remember, like, you were out of town one time, and I stopped over your house, I think, to drop off something. And he was like, oh, I miss Kat so much. And I was like, oh. Yeah, like, no, I adore him. He's a sweet dude. And you guys have grown a lot together and flourished together as well.
Yeah.
You are the epitome of what partnership should be, so...
We both did a lot of growing.
Yeah.
After high school, like a lot, like
and together.
Yeah, we both went through some pretty significant life-changing stuff after high school, and that kind of made us grow up and learn and like change morality for a lot of stuff and change things that mattered to us and then just being together, just the right conditions were met. Yeah. To be honest. Like
I do remember like a couple years ago when you were even like, after you guys have had the conversation about like marriage and that kind of stuff and you were still like on the fence about the whole thing. It was like a couple years ago now where you were just like, I want to marry him. And I was like full blown, like marriage certificate, everything, last name, all that kind of stuff. And she was like, yeah, I'm gonna marry him. And I was like, all right. Because it's just, you'd reached that point and you were like, this is what I want. Yeah. Because even though you don't subscribe to the whole, like, government, social, whatever kind of thing, it's important to him and you know that will make him happy. You're okay with it.
Which, full circle, going, because we mentioned that earlier, like, that's something that we compromised on.
We got back there.
I have a very large family. Because I not only have my mother's side and my father's side, but also my mom's two best friends were a very integral part of my childhood and
their family,
raising
but not
me.
blood.
Yeah, so both of their families as well.
Dan also has a large family.
I mean, like, he has a large immediate family.
Yes.
But I have a ginormous extended family.
Yes, you do.
So something that's always been really important to me is having a wedding. First of all, I've always wanted a wedding. Come at me. I don't care.
It's a common thing. People like think about their weddings and stuff.
But also, like, I wanted all of my family to be there because my mom's side and my dad's side don't really know each other, and one of my favorite things is getting people from different parts of my life to meet each other. I just love that. I can
attest to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You met a lot of people.
I met a lot of people.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was a big thing for me is like when we were talking about a wedding before we even got engaged, because, you know, we kind of agreed like, hey, so question, just curious. Do you want to get married? Like, not, this isn't me like asking, but like if I asked you to marry me, would you say yes? Like that kind of a thing. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, and like we're talking about it, I'm like, I do kind of need a big wedding though. I do need that. That's something that I need. And we can work it out however, and like I kind of like estimated a number, and he's like, I don't want that, but I know it's important to you. And I'm like, well, I don't want to get legally married, but I know that's important to you. Yeah. So we're doing I'm getting the big wedding. That is a big thing for me. And he's also getting the legal
name change, everything.
Certificate marriage, and also the name change. Because that was another thing that I was like, I'm not a huge fan, because that dates back to when women were property. So, but
yeah. Then your initials will be cool. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, man. But yeah.
I will say, both of you guys have A middle names, so if you decide to have children, it's not a requirement, but if you do, you should give them A middle names. Keep the tradition!
Sure, why not?
Everybody can be an A.
It could be... It'll be...
Ooh, wait, 1 second.
Sorry,
okay, so this is a total non sequitur, but the guy I'm seeing, I just realized his last name, I don't think also has an A in it. But I have to look at it. It does not. Okay, side story. Random side story. So, the most common letter in names is A. There was even, like, a poll done in my 6th grade class where we were learning about graphs, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was, what can we put everybody in a yes category with 0 no's? Right? And it was, do you have an A in your name? Anywhere in your name. I was the only one without an A in my name. The only one. Everybody's like, oh, it's okay, but it's just Michelle. And I was like, what the
That's not...
I was the weird kid in school, like, I get it, but, like, yeah. So I've always had a thing about that.
It's just Michelle.
It's been a common thing. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, anybody who did that is seeing that now. But yeah, so I've never had an A in my name, and it's always been kind of one of my weird things of, like, I should marry somebody with an A in their name and take their last name, and I can then have an A in my name, because my first and middle name aren't changing.
Yeah.
He doesn't have an A in his name. It's gonna continue if I marry him.
Yeah, that's the other thing, because you guys just started seeing each other.
Yeah. So, but he's pretty cool, so.
He sounds like a very nice young man.
Yeah.
And I am excited to eventually meet him. Yeah.
If it gets that far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm kind of excited about him now.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah. So, anyway.
Do we want to go into other relationship stuff, or are we out of time?
We're about at an hour, so we should wrap it up.
Okay.
But basically, consent is key. Do what feels safe for you, and communicate.
Yeah.
And learn how to compromise. And compromises aren't like
with your partner too.
And when we say compromise, we don't say like get rid of your morals. There are some things that you do which you should not compromise on. Mm-hmm. if you have hard lines that don't need to be crossed.
The reason why Dan and I were able to compromise on the compromise that we made with our wedding is because we were both like, this is something that I want, but also not something. So for me, the whole like legal marriage thing and the name change, I was like, I mean, like, it's not that big of a deal to me. It's just something that I would like. It's a want, not a need, basically.
If you notice her verbiage from when she was talking about the wedding, she said she needed a big wedding.
Yeah.
So, because she does. Because the thing is like, your family, if they're not invited, would be upset. Because you have a large family and everybody knows each other, everybody talks.
Like, imagining the
Thanksgivings.
Just the bullshit that would be like any family member not being invited. Yeah. Like, I don't want that. Yeah. That sounds
The other thing
horrible.
is she is her mom's eldest child, so it's kind of like this is my eldest child, look at her succeeding kind of a thing. Like, it's not like it's a pomp and circumstance, but it's just like, it's a family thing. Like, you expect family to be invited. I also have a large extended family who would be offended if they weren't invited. So, like, I get it. Yeah. Like, it's just a thing. They need to be invited. They may not come, but they just need to be invited.
I really want them to be there.
Yeah. Like your family is cool. And it will be interesting, because the thing is like, you both have large friend groups just because you are very outgoing, friendly people. So, I mean, it's not like this, like, oh, satellite people. You genuinely care about all of them. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, like, a Dan family, Kat family, friends, like,
except it's
mishmash.
Dan family, like, friends, mishmash, and then also, like, Kat's family.
Well, yeah. But I think this is going to be an interesting wedding, because besides the bride and groom, I'm going to be the one that knows the most people.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Because you have met a lot of people who are coming.
Yeah. And I've been unofficially adopted into your family, just like you've been unofficially adopted into mine.
Yeah, so. My parents are not weirded out by the fact that you call them mom and dad.
No.
Yeah.
I actually, like, I know your mom's name.
My mom sends you gifts of pictures of our dog.
Yeah.
Like,
totally, like, no, it's just, like, like, not our families are close, but we're close to each other's respective families.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, my mom literally today was like, all the important people are here. Kat's there, and she's like, But yeah, so.
Thanks, Mooney.
Yeah. Respect your relationships, compromise where you can, keep your hard lines where you don't.
Empathize with your partner where you can, too, I think is really important.
Yeah. And communicate.
Yeah, you can't expect somebody to be empathetic to your needs when you're not being empathetic to theirs.
Yeah.
So.
And on that level, thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing.
Hope that you found some positive piece of advice in this podcast. Also, we are in our mid-20s and don't know everything about relationships.
No, not at all.
But we've come a long way.
We're not claiming to either. And we hope you guys have a good, healthy, happy new year, and we'll see you in 2020. Bye. Bye. Oh God, stopping.